Okay, first off, congratulations. Bumblebee in theaters December 21st. Tell me about the movie and obviously your character.
The movie's a fun ride. It's extremely entertaining. And we as moviegoers, we want to sit down and be entertained. Yeah. I think this is a movie that everybody's going to leave the theater feeling happy. It's a wonderful origin story. I play a bit of a bad guy in there, but not really a bad guy. Start out as a bad guy and maybe go through a little transformation. But above all else, it's a fun movie.
Now, when people watch you in certain films, you're not necessarily a bad guy. Is this a departure for you?
Oh, I think that's what's awesome about the creative process. You don't necessarily have to be the same thing every time.
So now that we are all prepared for Bumblebee, I have to ask you, I feel as if people obviously know you from wrestling. Is there a connection between WWE, you playing sports in high school, to acting?
I would solidify the connection between WWE more and acting, because WWE is sports entertainment. It uses sport to entertain. It's an infinite narrative. So we tell the story of good versus evil. It's storytelling, just like acting is. So it's essentially the same thing. It's just the major difference is the theater aspect of it. We're in this giant arena, so very similar to sports. If a basketball player in front of a sold-out crowd drains a three, he will put his hand up in the air, so not only the people on the court can see it, but so the people in 315 can see it. When we do that in WWE, we are very big, very animated. When you're plastered on a 70-foot screen, subtleties count, and that's the biggest hurdle that I've had to overcome, is to kind of turn myself way down, because that's the biggest difference in being on screen and being in a ring.
We've seen the blueprint with yourself, with The Rock. You start on one platform and you transition to acting, and you all have been able to do it so successfully. Is there a point in your life, in the near future perhaps, where you think, I think this is it for wrestling?
Well, that's like asking an athlete, like, hey, do you ever contemplate retirement?
Of course.
And you can ask a professional rookie that. You have to. Because anything that you rely on your body for an end result, time is going to catch up with you. So there is going to come a point where I can no longer keep up with the pace. Mm-hmm. I made a promise to myself years ago, years before I ever found my passion for being on screen. When I can't keep up with the pace, I got to walk away. I don't want to take a ticket buyer's money and have him sit down and be like, he's just hanging on. Mm-hmm. I don't ever want that feeling. So I don't think that correlates with what I'm doing now. The biggest difficulty is trying to juggle stuff, because I have learned and I'm trying to fight this system, but I'm losing. When you're in production for a movie, they don't allow you to wrestle, because I can't go to a WWE taping, have my nose put over here.
That wouldn't look good.
It not only does it not look good, and man, you don't look right. So then they shut the movie down, and there's 150 people that are expecting a paycheck for that movie. Yeah. And I just screwed them out of their wage, and it ups the budget of the movie. So I just put the movie behind the eight ball of possibly being a financial success. So as much as I want to do everything, you can't. And this is a giant misunderstanding that I had about what Dwayne was doing, what The Rock was doing, because he does movie after movie after movie after movie, and I know the feeling of wanting to go back, and I'm going back as soon as I can, but I can't go back until I'm done with this. So I totally get it, and I kind of called him out for it, and that was me being an ass, and I was totally wrong and ignorant and young and stupid, and I've told him I'm sorry, but I think that's something that our fans don't understand. If LeBron James was to take a break from basketball because he had an opportunity to film something, the basketball fans would be like, what are you doing? Go back to basketball. So I understand the resentment, but it's a tough balancing act, and I'm bold enough to try it.
Yeah, I tell you, your world, and again, you probably have that same ethic of just, I like to work, I like excellence, which is why so many people are successful who do what you do. I think of DJ, I got a chance to work with him on his TV show. Yeah. He literally is such a hard worker, he never stops, like never. We had an opportunity to talk about sports last time you and I met, and I just want to make sure I'm correct. You said you're a bit of a gypsy, so you don't necessarily claim a home team.
No, I don't.
But you do like the Patriots.
I do.
Why is that?
Because the way that professional sport is set up is to create an equal playing field, especially with salary cap and player contracts. It's a great opportunity for the players to make some money, but you used to see a player play their entire career with one team, so you could establish a team around a certain group of players. The 49ers famous for doing that, those epic teams. based around a certain amount of athletes. Nowadays, you kind of got to be a bit of a chess player shifting the pieces. It's for the same reason I like Alabama. They always find a way, no matter what. And I think that that's admirable. And regardless of your success through your journey, people are going to question your methods and question your ethos, and that's just a byproduct of doing well. But I love the long lens aspect of performance over the long term, time under tension. When you're good, you can have a good season and then be forgotten. When you're good over a long period of time, that's amazing. When you're good over a long period of time, when the circumstances and the element is not supposed to allow that to happen, that's super impressive.
Okay, Brady, Belichick, best coach quarterback duo?
I don't think there's a way you can say any different. I really don't. I grew up in West Newbury, Massachusetts, but I'm not a Patriots fan for those reasons. I'm a Patriots fan because they commit to excellence and deliver.
What do you think about Gronk?
I think he'd be a great WWE superstar.
I agree.
I really do. I think he's got this unbelievable energy and infectious electricity about him. But at the same time, once again, just because my methods work for me, his methods work for him, the proof is in the performance. He shows up. He shows up.
I can see that being the next easy transition. It seems like it'd be so natural. I almost feel as if he's a wrestler now. We just get him a little more tamed.
I think he kind of is. And if he wants to take off the pads and step in the arena, I think he'll fit right at home.
Well, they say, and you correct me if I'm wrong, in high school you were a center, right?
Yeah.
You played football.
Yeah.
Wore number 54?
Yeah.
Okay, so is there anyone that you remember back when you were in high school playing ball that you're like, I want to be like that guy? That's a style.
No, I was an offensive lineman at 6 feet, 230, 40 pounds.
Yeah.
I just said I want to be on the field. You know, like I knew I could play in high school. I didn't think I could play in college. I ended up in a small Division III school. I had a wonderful tenure there. I played all 4 years, was a team captain my senior year, had a lot of fun, but knew the end of the story.
Right.
Like there's not anything past that, and I had no premonitions about like, man, you know, if I got the right opportunity, I could play Division. No, I couldn't play Division I, 2, 2A, 2B, whatever it is. I was where I needed to be because of my skill level. So it was a great time, but also a great way to realize like, okay, this is good for this time period, but this is not how I'm going to make a living. And this is not something I'm going to pursue after this certain period in time. And I remember my last game vividly. I remember feeling euphoric, like this chapter's done. Okay, what's next?
Wow. All right, that's great self-awareness. That's a lesson for all of us right now. Know what you can and can't do, or
Know
what
who
you
you are.
should do. Exactly.
Know who you are.
Yeah, exactly. So then I must ask you this. Was there anything, as you now have been successful with the WWE and acting, I need to know, is there something on your bucket list for both?
It's always the same. Do what you love. And that can change over time. Those goals of like what I love can change over time. But I think if you love something and you're passionate about it, you do it. And I think you'll do it well. And that's what I learned. I've had many opportunities with WWE. I had opportunities to do movies early on, and they didn't do well. It's because on set, I wasn't patient enough to learn the movie making process. I didn't want to learn the movie making process. I wanted to be a WWE champion. And I wanted to be in that ring because that's when I was 26 years old, and I didn't want anything more than that. And that's what I wanted and loved. And every time I got that, I think it showed in the performance. Man, he's having fun out there. Mm-hmm. Now I have all these opportunities, and I'm older, I'm wiser, I'm much more patient, I understand the process, and I love the process. Why do I keep going back to WWE? Because I love to tell stories through action, through sport. Mm-hmm. Those games and those moments in sport that mean so much to us, I get to do that every night, and I get to plan it. So it's like I can end the game with a home run in the ninth all the time, with a fourth quarter Hail Mary all the time. Every night's a buzzer beater. So you get that sense of like, man, we can weave this together to tell an awesome story, and it doesn't have to be 35-0 where people are leaving in the first quarter. Like it's an interesting environment. And now with movies, it's the same thing. Okay, use your skills to step into the shoes of somebody else and tell a story. And I really do enjoy it.
Okay, so what was more nerve-wracking, hosting the ESPYs or throwing out a first pitch?
ESPYs was tough, really tough, because you're a true fish out of water. You're a non-athlete, basically poking fun into athletics. And that's a very serious business because athletes do put their lives on the line. In this movie, in no way, shape, or form was I ever in any jeopardy making Bumblebee. When you take the field in any aspect, you run the risk of injury. So when you poke fun at that, man, you don't know my world. Like that's a justifiable defense. That was a very, very tough room. Throwing out the Dodgers' first pitch to my childhood idol, Don Mattingly, I needed a change of pants. And I bounced it. It was 50 feet, and like a true first baseman, just skipped it, like not even looking, just one-hopped it, and you're like, hey man, great job, let's play baseball. And I'm like, I don't even know what's happening anymore. So they're both equally stressed.
Well said. I think we get into there. Bumblebee in theaters December 21st.
Everybody go see Bumblebee so I can do this again.
Yeah, so we can do that.